Hello and welcome back. Today I want to play a song for you that was made popular by Elvis Presley. It's a very simple song, beautiful song called Love Me Tender. I'm going to play it in the key of C, no sharps or flats. And I'm going to play it with three techniques. The first technique is going to be block chords in the left hand, melody in the right hand. Block chords being chords built in block formation, root, third, fifth, sixth, or root, third, fifth, seventh in the left hand. The second technique, I'm going to spread out the harmonies between the two hands. I'm going to call that the spread voicing. And then the third technique, I'm going to be adding upper structure chords and some reharmonization and some what I would call color tones to fill it out more. So I'm going to be going from the very simple to the more complex. So we'll start with step one, which is the basic block chord technique. Okay, in step two, we're taking the basic block chord like this, and we're moving the notes that are in the middle of the chord up to the right hand. So like the E will come up to the right hand like this, and we have just the G, and we can add the A if we want, but we're going to put the middle note, the E, in the right hand like this. Now, this chord here, taking these middle notes and putting them up here in the right hand. So now you're going to hear how this particular technique sounds. Okay, in step three, I'm going to spread out the harmonies even more. I'm going to reharmonize. So that means I'm going to add color tones, and I'm also going to change the bass line. So I'm going to be playing some substitute chords. And I'll explain them later, but I want you to hear what it sounds like when we expand it that way. So you heard how the third step with the reharmonization is quite a quantum leap going from step two to step three, and that takes a lot of experience and knowledge to know how to do that. I'm going to explain a little bit of it for you now, but you should go onto my website if you like, and you can download these three examples. There'll be scores there for you, and you can study them and perhaps learn by looking at the music. But just briefly, I just want to say that I'm adding harmonies, and I'm also changing the bass line in some cases. Now here I'm adding a an 11th, or you could call it a sustained 4th. And I'm adding a 13 here, so it's a color tone going to a flat 13, and then there I'm adding a 13 and a flat 9. So these color tones fill out the harmony and give it a lush sound. Now here I'm reharmonizing the bass line, so I'm using a different chord here. That's a G diminished, G sharp diminished, moving to an A minor, up to the D. So that's, then here is a pretty colorful sounding chord because it has a sharp 9, it's a D7 with a sharp 9 and a flat 13. There I'm adding a flat 9 and a 13 again. Now here I'm reharmonizing the bass line. Instead of a G chord, I'm playing a D flat, which is a tritone substitute. So I use those a lot. And we'll have a special lesson on tritone substitutes. Here we go. Now I'm expanding the left hand into tenths down here. There's a substitute chord, a B flat 7, adding some moving lines in the left hand. And here's a substitute chord, a chromatic movement down to the A7. Then here's a tritone substitute. Now when you add the tritone substitute, you need to adapt it to the melody. So in this case, it's an A flat 7 with a 13, a 9, and the melody gives it a sharp 11. So these color tones are the result of understanding how to use the upper extensions. And we'll have another lesson on that at some point. Or you can ask me questions and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, so finishing up the last couple measures, that's a G with a sustained 4 or an 11, you can think of it, going to a G7 with a sharp 5, D minor, 9, there's the 9, and there's a tritone substitute of the D flat 9 chord to a C6 9. So all these color tones and substitutions give it a rich sound and expand the harmonies. And like I said, I'll give you a separate lesson on this at some point, but you can go to the website and download these scores and study them, and hopefully you can gain some knowledge from this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.